Okay, we'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. Has everybody had a chance to look at the minutes from the previous meeting? Any additions or corrections?
I'll move to approve.
Moved by Larry, second by Cale, all in favor? Okay. And the minutes from the April 8th special meeting? A motion to approve? Moved by Justin, second by Cale, all in favor? Okay. Consent agenda. Need permission for clerk to pay insurance at time of billing. Permission for clerk to pay utilities at time of billing. Permission for clerk to pay utility incentives before the 26th of the month. Permission for clerk to pay theater bills when due. Permission for clerk to pay payment service network bills when due. And permission for clerk to pay city attorney bills when due.
So moved.
Moved by Larry, second by Dara, all in favor? Okay. New business, Jan.
Thank you for allowing me time on your agenda this evening. My name is Jan Lohr. I am representing the Goodland chapter of the Daughters of American Revolution, or DAR. Our chapter does encompass Cheyenne, Sherman, and Wallace counties. So if you're unfamiliar with DAR, we're a national society of women who are directly descended from a patriot of the American Revolution. As a nonprofit, non-political, service-based organization, we primarily promote historic preservation, education, and patriotism. DAR is promoting the America 250 project, which is to honor and commemorate the 250th birthday of our country. Two Lights for Tomorrow is a national initiative in collaboration from multiple states, including Kansas, as along with many communities and organizations that will kick off this Friday, April 18th, which is the 250th anniversary of the famous ride of Paul Revere. He, along with other alarm riders, undertook the perilous ride to alert the countryside of the impending hostile action from the British Army. If you recall your American history, the signal was either one or two lights in the steeple of the Old North Church, and it was one if by land and two if by sea, and it was two by sea, so that's why the two lights. At its heart, the Two Lights of Tomorrow initiative is a call all across the country, in private homes, local communities, and state houses alike, for two lights to be displayed to remind us all of the importance to come together to form a more perfect union, and to remind all citizens of our shared history and honoring the sacrifices of those who fought for our independence. I'm here tonight to ask two things. First, for you to participate in the Two Lights for Tomorrow initiative by placing two lights in the city hall here, as well as any other municipal buildings that the city may have, for all of the community to see. The second item is that I would ask for you to sign a proclamation recognizing the importance of honoring and commemorating the 250th anniversary of the founding of our country, and endorsing the Two Lights for Tomorrow national initiative, encouraging all citizens to take part in this symbolic event by displaying two lights.
Sounds good to me.
The only question Jan had was different entities are doing different things, whether it's one day, a week, a month, a year, some of them even, and so we need to decide how long we would like to display.
We couldn't just display two lights in the window, right?
Mm-hmm.
And just leave them on till next year,
Next year?
July 4th. Or leave them on forever, it doesn't matter. Just two little lights.
Just as long as
should we-
there's LEDs, right?
Yeah.
Conservation.
No, they have to be gas lanterns.
I won't tell them what I said. So, 1 year.
Yeah.
Do we need a motion on that?
If you're gonna do 1 year, I'd go to July 4th
Yeah,
next
so
year,
July
because that's
4th,
when
yeah.
the program ends, so.
Yeah.
July 4th of this year? Or
26th.
26th, okay. So,
And I would probably motion to.
okay, so
I'll
here,
make my motion.
motion by Cale, second by Justin, all in favor? Okay. So I will read the proclamation here. So, whereas the city of St. Francis recognizes the importance of honoring and commemorating the 250th anniversary of the founding of our nation and reminding our citizens of the vital significance and relevance of our founding principles and ideas that created a unique national identity worth fighting for. And whereas the events of 1775 that began the revolution the year before the independence was declared are significant moments that signaled the creation of a national identity and unity of purpose that transcended traditional geographic, cultural, and societal divides. And whereas individuals and communities across the colonies came together to support their fellow countrymen, and whereas on the evening of April 18th, 1775, with impending hostile action from the British Army in Boston, Massachusetts, Paul Revere and William Dawes, along with other alarm riders, undertook a perilous ride to alert everyone in the countryside of the coming danger. And whereas preceding their departure from Boston, a prearranged signal was sent in the Old North Church steeple to ensure that the message got out and did not solely rely on just one or two alarm riders. And whereas the two lanterns that were the signal were immortalized in Henry Wadsworth Longfellow's poem, Paul Revere's Ride, as one if by land and two if by sea, have become an enduring symbol of American vigilance, perseverance, preparedness in the face of adversity. And whereas those alarm riders and the citizens that answered the call to arms and serve and defend their fellow countrymen that night and the following day at the battles of Lexington and Concord exemplified the spirit of community and shared responsibility that has defined our nation since its inception. And whereas we are reminded 250 years later that the call for unity and the call to serve each other is no less relevant today than it was then, and whereas a national initiative has been proposed through a collaboration from multiple states that two lights be displayed in public spaces across the country for all to see, marking that significant anniversary in April 2025, and the beginning of the 250th anniversary commemorations leading up to the Declaration of Independence on July 4th, 2026. And whereas state commissions, state governments, federal agencies, and community, heritage, and historical organizations across the country have eagerly endorsed the initiative and pledged to support and participate, and have encouraged others to do the same. Now, therefore, the City of St. Francis Council does hereby endorse the Two Lights for Tomorrow national initiative and call on all citizens to unite in remembrance of our shared history, honoring the sacrifice made by those who fought for our independence and reminding ourselves of the values we hold dear today. Furthermore, we encourage all government buildings, community centers, public spaces, and all citizens to take part in this symbolic display by prominently displaying two lights for all to see until July 4th, 2026, and reflect on how those lights shining out in the darkness during this vigil symbolically illustrate our ongoing journey as a nation.
That's very good. Are you gonna be able to talk to us tonight?
No, can you take over? Did you want a photo op?
If I could.
Yes. You want the whole council?
Whatever works for you guys.
We just, prefer chairs and everybody crowd in here. Come on around. Oh, oops. Okay.
Rush home to your hometown and make sure you've got the two lights.
No.
Thank you so much.
Okay, all right, perfect.
Thank you so
Yes,
much.
thank you.
Did you need a copy of this?
Jen, do we want to pass it?
Yeah.
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 You got it? All right. Lisa. Lisa, CCDC, and Hayden Pfeiffer Innovative Center on update on housing survey.
Okay, I've been wanting to talk to you guys for a long time.
Uh-huh.
I've bothered a few of you through this process, but Lisa Kramer Kroll, and I am with the CCDC as the housing director. So last fall, we were starting the housing assessment tool. It was quite involved. It took about 2.5 months. We now have it completed. And I think Chris handed out the summary of what all the data, produced. Kind of gives us a priority of what the housing needs are here in St. Francis. There's several, rentals, senior living, and just single-family homes. There's a lot of dilapidated homes that need to be bulldozed, and taking a look at that. So this would just kind of gives us a starting place. So we've got a couple projects in the works, but I wanted Caden Pfeiffer. He's with the Innovation Center, and he's got some programs that we can take advantage of after completing the HAT. So that's kind of what I wanted him to discuss with you guys and let you know what's available.
Well, hello. I appreciate the opportunity to speak in front of you today. My name is Caden Pfeiffer. I'm the Regional Housing Planner with the Innovation Center. Well, first I want to thank these three for the work that they put into the HAT. That document doesn't do it justice. There's like 30 pages worth of valuable data that's in that housing assessment. And you have no idea how much that sets you up, because there's a lot of programs at the state level that require that document to be filled out. And it's a pretty extensive process. And the thing I like to urge a lot of these communities is, especially going into this year, money for a lot of statewide programs is pretty scarce. And so that means there's going to be a lot of competition for the same state dollars. Well, in fact, the state dollars are going to be reduced this year. There's a lot more competition for less money. And while some communities are working through the process of trying to get that done to be eligible, you guys have already taken that care of. So honestly, you can pat yourselves on the back, because when all these other communities are fighting to get that money, you're already in the running. So good job on that. Now, I want to talk about a program that's in your neck of the woods that really we don't have a shortage of money right now. How many of you heard of the Kansas Housing Cooperative Loan Program? It's a new program. It's a cooperative program, and the reason we're calling it that, it's a partnership between 3 entities. It's the state of Kansas, the Dane G. Hansen Foundation, and the Kansas communities, primarily the Northwest Kansas communities. What this program is that it is a new construction build program. What we offer is a 17% subsidy of the total construction cost, up to $55,000. The idea with this program is that we're seeing there's a big appraisal gap between the appraisal and the cost to develop. That $55,000 is there to usher in to help fill that gap. So, for example, a $300,000 home at 17% subsidy, we offer $51,000. Now that comes in 3 parts. I mentioned at the very beginning it's a cooperative program. So 2/3 of that are in cash. 1/3 is from the Dane G. Hansen Foundation. 1/3 is from the state. And like I said, the final 1/3 is from the Kansas Housing Cooperative, from the Kansas communities. In your area, you actually have a tool that you can utilize to help cover that match, which is the Neighborhood Revitalization Plan. In that plan, what we could do is we could take the net present value associated with the tax rebate program and pledge that towards your match. And that's a pretty big deal, because I'm going to have you turn to the very last page. What this is, we call an impact analysis sheet. We use a data set called RIMS-2, R-I-M-S, Roman numeral 2. It's a standardized government database that we purchase the rights for and we utilize for our purposes. So I mentioned to you a $300,000 home at $17,000 community investment. In this example, I used Russell for 10 homes. At $17,000 a pop for 10 homes, $170,000 was a 700% return on investment in the community. With those numbers, how do you possibly say no? And that's the selling point. This is a program that's in your neck of the woods that you can benefit from and utilize in your own community. And you already have the tools to take advantage of it. So, on top of the hat, you have the Kansas Housing Cooperative Program. You have the numbers to show that this is a great benefit to the community. We're just here to tell you about those opportunities and make sure that you're taking advantage of them, because we're trying to get some movement happening, especially in your community and the rest of the region, because it sounds like there's some exciting things to be had here. So, like I said, thank you all again for letting me be here and speak in front of you today, and I hope to see some application here soon. And if some of you have any more questions about the program, I got some flyers for you to take them as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. Any questions, or do you have any input?
No, I just want to thank everybody, and if you have questions, we have the full report down at the CCD office to look through. And, you know, we've got some projects in the works. Like I said, we're still trying to get through all the details. But if anybody has any input of what they feel like the need is, or, you know, of contractors or, you know, builders, and that's kind of in short supply around here. So that's kind of a, you know, hoop we need to jump through. But I just appreciate you guys' time and the people that I have bugged to get the data. It was kind of eye-opening, honestly. It was, kind of showed some things that I wasn't aware of. And so, anyway, just holler if you have any questions.
You're gonna mention that you'll probably have a public meeting that will
Yeah, we'll have a,
discuss the
yeah,
outcomes of the,
we'll go over this with the
Survey.
public in the near future. Because we did have two meetings, I guess, and so that was prior to the HAT summary coming back. Need to visit with everybody and hopefully get some people to volunteer for certain tasks and, you know, get the community involved to make some changes in the housing and be able to provide rentals for the teachers and the hospital people that come in, you know, temporarily. Senior housing, we need to move some of those older people out to a smaller home, so that frees up the big homes for the younger families that are wanting to, you know, have the more square footage. And some of the homes around town that are in, you know, dire condition, they kind of need addressed as well, so. Yeah, that's it, thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Janet Carmen. You're up.
Jessica's not here tonight, but Chris can answer questions if you have. This is about, next week, actually, Monday the 21st, the Department of Commerce is hitting the road, and they're starting right here in St. Francis for what they call the Community Cruise. It's kind of a national event, and the Department of Commerce, whatever small group comes out with them, are going to make 26 stops around the state in 5 days, and we're the first one. And at 8:30 next Monday morning, they're going to come to 202, and we're inviting community leaders to come to that. The Herald put an article and said was inviting everybody, but that's not the case. But the Department of Commerce wants to see community leaders there so that they can do some interaction, and I don't think they'll have much time to interact in 30 minutes because it's from 8:30 to 9. But Kim Swigert is going to put on one of her wonderful little receptions, and we'll have scones and coffee and juice. And what the Department of Commerce wants to do is showcase impactful projects, which 202 is an impactful project. And what they say about 202 is that it's, let me see what where I can find that. Oh, when they say it's a beautiful and versatile event space with big future plans. And the reason that we were chosen is because we've gotten a couple of good grants from the Department of Commerce. One was called the HEAL grant, which is restoring old property. The other one was the CSP Community Service Project Tax Incentives. So, and they've been out, one of their representatives has been out to visit us several times. So we would like to invite you all to come out to this event. 8:30 on the 21st, and I have some little handouts if anybody thinks they could come, it'd be just a reminder for you to have, okay? And I think that Natalie, who came with
I
me,
like
has
this.
something else to
The
say.
small A subheading under Janet.
Yeah, which
Surprise.
is not on your agenda, surprise, surprise. We take advantage of every opportunity we have.
Exactly. We don't know how to be apart from each other anyways.
No, we don't.
But this has to do with 202, and we have approached you before. It's been a while, and we were asking about the signage to go in front of 202. It was going to be out in a tree grate. We've actually got that sign sort of completed, and it's gone back a couple of steps, but anyway. So that is still on the agenda to get that done. But we've been approached by, Janet would know a lot more information about this, but Glenn Swigert, who is a native St. Francis person, and he is an amazing artist and sculptor. He lives in New York, and there was a show in Salina, Kansas.
A year-long sculpture show.
Mhm. And so he had a couple of pieces there, and one of them actually won Best of Show. Well, he would really love St. Francis to have that sculpture, because a lot of the material that was used in the creating of it was from part of this area, like a tree claim.
Tree roots from a tree claim on Swigert property,
Yes.
which is, dates back to the 1880s.
So the name of the piece is actually the ancestral tree. Anyway, he would like for us to have that. And so we were kind of trying to decide where to put that. And we had another thought about, well, we actually have 2 tree grates in front of our property. So our thought was maybe put it in the other tree grate, which is a little closer to the actual entrance to the courtyard area, where the Heart Gallery sign would be over more towards the entrance to the Heart Gallery. So we just wanted to know if there was any issues with that, if that was okay with you guys too. It's we don't have exact measurements of it, but it's a pretty tall.
It's big.
It's big. It's maybe what?
I
10?
went down last Monday to see it in
Yeah.
person. Mhm.
Maybe 10 feet or
9
feet, excuse me.
Mhm.
Cool.
So,
How far does it stick out?
I was asking him, I think it's just pretty much straight up and down, but it has a crossbar across the top, which we think is about 4 feet long.
it has like a center bar and then these kind of like branches coming out.
Mhm.
So, it's,
I had someone tell me just a while ago, this afternoon, that they would donate Glenn is asking us to give him $1,000 to transport it here. But he is also donating $5,000 worth of materials to us as a nonprofit. So this is a $12,000 sculpture. That's the price tag on it. So that's what it would cost us. And I had a person this afternoon say to me, I will donate the first $100 to this 1,000 because they believe so much in the significance of the tree roots and our ancestors who lived here, who actually that's the way they got land, was to plant a tree claim, and these are actual roots from the claim. So that's our story.
That's how it is.
How does it have to be set? I mean,
Well, it'll have to be in concrete, so our plan is to, just kind of preliminary, is to take out maybe the grate part of it, and where it's just that square there, and then concrete it in.
Could
That's
you
how-
guys
that's
maybe
how-
come back with like a picture of what it is and
Sure.
dimensions and your plan of, as far as what you're gonna
Okay.
wanna concrete in, and then maybe we can go from there. And
Had you ever checked on power and water in those areas?
I haven't checked those too specific, but there's water in some of them, There's power in almost all of them.
Yeah, this is a different, because you were out there, Dan, weren't you, before when we looked at that first grate? I think this one has the little water box on it, is what I think.
Right.
Cause this would be, cause we talked about the sign, and the sign could be removable if need be, and this would not be
Right.
movable.
Oh, you could unbolt it and haul it away. If you have the right equipment.
Easily.
Easily.
What do you guys think? Have them get a formal
Like,
Get a
okay.
request.
Picture,
Picture,
if it's,
yeah.
yeah, it's an actual.
I have a
picture and,
picture.
Yeah, you do have a picture.
I have a picture.
and dimensions so we know how tall,
Yeah,
how wide it
We know that it's 9
Yeah.
feet tall and it weighs 900 pounds.
Wow.
It's not going anywhere,
Yeah.
even in our wind.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay,
well,
thank you.
we'll come back. and-
Can I give one of these to
Yeah, I put it in my phone.
Thank you.
As you were talking, I put it in my phone, so I knew.
Good, okay.
Yes.
Kale, how about you coming up the street to go to, bud?
Probably afterward.
Oh, do you? Oh, well, no, I can bring, yeah, sure, that's great. Larry?
I'd love to, but I got up here.
I know, but we're on Central Time, Larry.
I'll take,
I'm gone this week.
Did I miss anybody?
I'll take her.
Fernando.
Okay.
Thanks, Janet.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, thank you.
Fernando, do you wanna go ahead and jump in
He's
there?
gonna do the presentation.
Hi guys. Hi. So I am representing Tri States Groceries, and I am here to inform you that Fernando is going to purchase the grocery store. Yay! So if anybody asks, I'm no longer there. I've been working with the Odells and everything, and we are looking for funding for it. It's a long process that's been going on for a little while now. But I'm hoping that it will turn out very well. It's very positive from what I get from Erica at Grocery Initiative, different entities, Health Initiative, and other entities. But I'm just here to inform you and let you guys know that I will be purchasing the grocery store and going forward with a plan on it, which I will present to you guys later. I'm also asking for your guys' support because a lot of these grants and or loans will be requiring to see how much you guys, the commissioners and city officials and community are involved and would like to see it grow. That is it.
Cool.
Very good.
Cool.
Yes. You have our support, Fernando.
Thank you.
Yes.
Might need a letter of support that you didn't ask for.
Yes.
That might be coming with when the grants were ready.
Okay. Yep. We can do that. All right, thank you. Chicken permit renewals.
Thank you all.
Yep.
Thank you, thank you.
It's been moved by Kale. They're all renewals, right? Nothing- yeah.
No.
Second by Larry, all in favor? And all of a sudden we got
Everybody's gone.
our whole crowd. All in favor? All right, chicken permits passed. Tree, shrub, or landscape contractor renewal for Matt Hensley. Moved by Justin, second by Kale, all in favor? Okay. Building permits.
So you didn't have anything with Jesse's, right, to talk about? The
I hope,
fence is
I
just
hope
right
not,
there.
it's up, so I hope not. Yeah, no, there wasn't an issue with it.
Yeah, it's here.
Oh, you got it? Okay. And you got this one?
Yeah.
So, and that's just replacing the fence right where it is. They're taking the chain link down, putting wood up. These two get a little more detailed, I don't think you have those, but.
Dan, did you need these? I printed them. Do you have copies? Okay.
So, show you. So normally we run 40 feet, 40 feet for one corner. They want to move their fence up to the front of their house, so, and we did this for
Brian.
O'Reilly. Went 30 feet each way, and that'll give them where they want to go if you guys are good with that.
Nobody else complains about it, I guess?
The fence will be on the right of way, just like it goes now on the right of way. It goes, it's gonna go straight up. So
So,
it is on city right on city right of way.
Wait, this is.
There's a chain link.
There's a whole bunch of them up there.
Let me get the right one.
Right
I
away.
think that's- Okay, so this is, so basically there's chain link
Oh,
back here, and he wants to move a wood fence up here. And the setback is 40, and we did 30 on Riley, so basically, if we allow him the same,
So they're talking about doing 6 foot.
so,
where's this at?
do you know where Lauren lives?
Yeah.
Right here?
Around the corner.
So 40-foot setback, we did the same, Brian, right,
Same
because
thing.
we got, we gave you a 30-foot. But he wants to see.
Well, Ben doesn't see any issues with it.
I don't,
It's pretty clear corner. It's not like there's a reason
yeah,
not to let them put
and to
it
come
out.
off the corner of the house, it's not,
And then from there, it'll go on over to Lauren's fence and down the other side. And she's over, they've already signed it back. Yeah. And then Craves is wanting to put a pergola out front. And it's gonna be 20 foot down to the, from their building down, and 12 foot wide. So it won't really extend any farther than the old ones that were there that they're taking down, but
we don't really know that there's a building.
we don't think it was building permit for them because, yeah, so they come out in the right of way. And she's gonna be really close to the right of way. She might just squeeze into it, but I told her it'd be up to you guys.
Could be wood, metal.
It's gonna be metal. I don't know if you ever seen the one on the south side of her house.
Yeah.
That's gonna look just like that,
Just bigger. And the thing is, it'll be bolted
bolted down.
to the concrete, so there's ever, it's not like it's permanent. If there was a complaint.
Is this one like handy?
Yes.
That's all the building permits that I have, I think. But I haven't signed these two yet because I worked, talked to you guys since there was one discrepancy in there.
Any questions on the building permit? Is there a motion to approve?
Still got a motion on.
Huh?
I still have a motion.
You still have a motion, sorry. Moved by Justin, second by Kale, all in favor? Sorry, Justin. Rapid cleanup. Next meeting,
Yeah.
I'll get with you and we'll get something going.
There was a while back in the paper, the one north of the grocery store. I think it's Brady's.
Oh, on the corner there?
Yeah.
Which one?
Well, the one that, right next to the one that was burned up.
Oh,
And,
Check it.
yeah,
Groceries.
that was one that was brought up to me.
He's talking about Freddy Pacheco's.
another
Is that
block
the-
down, across the
Yeah,
Arlington
2
City
blocks,
Avenue.
2 blocks north.
First I wanna know, is that, I guess since it's a business thing, is that zoned for business?
Is it used for business?
Where all the shingles are?
He's just using it for storage.
I don't know, I'd have to drive by and take a look.
And what is the plan for the houses that are burned up? What do we do?
We'd have to start a condemnation process, wouldn't we?
There is an ordinance, it's been brought to my attention, that there is an ordinance that was passed whereby if there's a fire or a flood of that, something of that nature, that the city can actually hold the insurance check until the property is brought into compliance. was just brought up to my attention over the weekend, so I don't know.
And what is this group doing about those type of houses? I mean,
I've talked with Lisa. I think there's grant funding out there to help with demolition. I don't, as far as whether or not you can just help owners of the property get rid of houses that are dilapidated that aren't livable, if it's where you can get, if they're inexpensive to purchase, or if somebody would deed them over in lieu of like a condemnation so they can be cleaned up. I know I've visited with Lisa about different opportunities up there, and I just, that would be acquiring them and or going through that process, or if they would apply for grant funding just to get them cleaned up.
yeah, I didn't know if they're.
Sounds like they've got a couple of possible perspective
Ones to work on.
But I think they're looking for more areas that, kind of spots that maybe there'd be 2 or 3 houses in, that you could have a bigger, I wanna say development, but maybe some smaller homes to develop a couple, 2 or 3 per side or something, if you had a little bit bigger.
Cause there's a few houses that's never been lived in, and I could probably say it's at least 10 years. So, I mean, I hate to see what it looks like inside.
Part of that problem goes back to the owners though, as far as what you can and can't do, right?
And that's kind of the conversations I've had with Lisa is, there's certain avenues the city can go to as far as condemnation. And we started that, it's been a couple, 2-3 years ago, it might have been when Mike was still attorney, that we kind of had set aside, started budgeting like $25,000 for property cleanup for condemnations, because just the legal expense of going through that, and then acquiring the property, and then having to demolish it. So we had started that, I think, when Mike was still attorney, so we could start going through that process. And Lauren and I have talked about the one that we started that process up on 3rd Street, and she was gonna reach out to them, and then, I was gonna say the gals in the office, but the workers in the office look up the house on, Emerson. There's another one that we had went through, kind of the same. We had kind of an agreement with the owner. He had purchased the property at a tax foreclosure sale, was pretty dilapidated, and he kind of had a structure the way we recalled of certain things he was going to do, and I don't know that that's been followed through. So I know we've at least followed up on 2 that we had initiated the process and haven't kind of fell through the cracks.
The one on Emerson's by Lauren's, right? I know they put a new roof on that one.
And I think that's where they stopped, and I thought they had, did you look at that, Jen?
I didn't.
Do we know anything about the turtle house? That'd be another one.
Yeah,
That'll be interesting.
yeah,
It seems like that would be actually a hazardous
yeah.
place.
Yeah, and I mean, as far as that one, I think that he keeps current on the taxes to where it doesn't go on a tax sale, so. Do we have anything as far as in our ordinance about properties that don't have utilities? I mean, just to where you could maybe start there with ones that don't have them.
Not that I'm aware of, as far as acquiring them?
Yeah, well, as far as, I just didn't know, I mean, we've had people live in properties without utilities. I just didn't know what our ordinance as far as.
I thought maybe at one time we looked that up a long
Yeah.
time ago.
And I just think
Probably be something to,
look back into and see
Uh-huh.
if we can maybe start addressing with property cleanup, get the normal property cleanup stuff, and then maybe start tackling a few that maybe we need to look at condemnation and do like, we had the 2, and the one property the owners deeded over to us in lieu of condemnation, so it might be a thing that we can, if we have 2 or 3 or 4, maybe couple of them would do that in lieu of, and then, well, we can look into that and we'll probably clean up, and Dan can have pictures for cleanup, and we'll kind of maybe get an idea of the other two that we have, that we had started condemnation kind of talks on, and go from there. Does that sound good, everybody?
Yep.
Okay, anything else for up to clean up, Dan?
No.
How about projects pending?
Trees, beautification, someday.
Yeah.
Someday.
Although we potentially get a tree there, may not be alive, but put there.
Yeah.
9-foot tree.
9 foot tree.
9-foot tree, yeah.
Weighs 900 pounds. What was the Banjo grants? What were we looking for grants in the Banjo? Does anybody?
Well, it was mainly for,
The seating?
we were looking at, we had talked about stuff for inside.
Wasn't they doing something about
yeah.
sound too? Somebody gonna do something,
About what?
sound? They talked, I don't know, maybe I just heard that
There's also some cracks, isn't there?
from the last time, man.
I know we had looked when the seating was so bad, but we got that all done. I just couldn't remember what else was on our list for Banjo.
As far as any kind of grant funding, I mean, the big question is whether or not you wanna keep it on the historical register and pay the exorbitant prices. Or if you wanna take it off and actually get something accomplished at some point and get it remodeled, but
Once it's on there, is it easy to get off?
no.
Alright, that's what I figured.
And it's not on there now.
It
That's
is,
on there.
I was gonna say, I thought it
because
was.
I think we even had that, like the fountain and everything
Mhm.
isn't all, like the
Mhm.
whole park itself,
Yeah.
so just doing any kind of. The band shell. Yeah. There's nothing on projects pending, street project. We just need to call that streets and not, since we don't have an active project.
Have we talked to the engineer,
Like Dan
Talk to
said.
who?
the engineer or anything?
Just trying to figure out all my paperwork here.
Anything on the KDOT road? It's getting pretty bad up there.
Yeah, you want to talk about that?
We can't without an attorney present. I mean, we can't go into executive session about it.
Huh?
We can or
We
can't.
cannot go into executive session for legal matters without an
Legal.
attorney present.
We don't get the quote for what the coring and stuff.
Which one? So, we can call Lauren by phone.
We can't even talk about what things are, we just don't, we can't make any, we're not gonna make any decisions. Let's talk about it.
I don't think,
I don't
yeah, I
think
don't
you
think
can.
we'd better mention,
Can you call her?
yeah,
About
I
the
can.
KDOT thing. Hold on.
talked to Tyler with B&H about chip seal stuff, and we discussed all the new streets that we just did. Could probably wait another year or two before they're chipped.
Even some of the places that they're kind of skipped, like I know it's like from the Lutheran Church going east, there's a lot of places that just didn't get stuff. Good enough.
On the chip seal?
Yeah.
Yeah. We don't know what's going on there.
Okay.
So we,
Or by I think Co-op maybe was another one.
What did you say about Scott Street?
He's not sure if we got dirty rock or what happened. He can't figure it out for sure. But anyway, the conversation was, depending on how many streets you guys want to redo, is maybe something this year out of chip seal, and then have them come in the fall and do a bunch of crack fill. Cause we really need to crack fill a lot of these streets before we chip them. And then like Dennison Street, talking about them wide gaps, putting mastic in them, and then crack sealing over it, and then go back and chip seal later. But that was just the thought we had, was maybe we wait this year, but it depends on what you guys wanna do. I don't know how much streets you guys wanna tear out and stuff.
Did we talk to the guy at Goodland, the engineer, about coming out here and looking at the streets that need tore out? How much it cost?
I talked to, Tyler about it. He's checking it out. In fact, that's part of what the coring would be for, is the streets that we're looking at in town.
Okay. When do you think he's gonna be roughly out and about?
He knew what a lot of them were, he said already, cause he's the one that did all the maps from before. So he gets something together once we decide on the coring, if we're gonna do the coring and all that. I mean, I can call him again and see if we can get him out here, but
Yeah, I'd like to get it known, just so we can get a jump on it, just so, if we're not doing sealing, then we need to do something.
Yeah.
But that's part of, this is part of the whole picture.
Should we
you know?
just, we can move on and see if Lauren gets back to us, will that work?
Yeah, that's fine.
Superintendent report.
Decided to have more street stuff to talk about. Well, we wanna do streets, we can do Brock's estimates. So, they're the same as they were last time. He'd already told me that these were good when I left them. So it'd be roughly $60,720 to do them all the intersections.
And apparently those, last year when you guys discussed, using the remaining bond funds to work on streets, you discussed this, I wanna say last June or July, that those would be, part of the bond funding. The remaining bond funds. So once you guys solidify all of that, you know, we need to get with the bond attorney to get that ordinance or whatever, to get it specified. So, and I know that the audit started today, and that was one of the things, they thought that, we might need to encumber that because the work didn't get done, and I explained that I think you guys were just committing the remaining bond funds, to be utilized towards the intersections. Just letting you guys know that.
Just how much did we have left that we had to?
Wasn't it 112? 113 maybe?
Looks like $187,000, $307, $187,307.51.
That's leftover bond funds?
Yes,
And we were wanting to find something that would
yes.
use that all up, so we just had to do the
I think
the
the one,
paperwork part of it one
Yeah.
time.
I believe that's what you guys decided, so I just wanted to make sure with this intersection stuff, I mean, if those are good and you guys decide to move forward with that.
We need to,
But that's not gonna clear it all.
no, we
No.
have to find other stuff to allocate, just to allocate, right? We just need to
Right.
allocate them, so we can publish what we're doing with that remaining.
Now, with that being said, that's what you guys talked about last year. If you guys wanna move forward with this and then pay for I don't know how much we're talking. You'll pay for those out of, special highway or, capital improvement, and then utilize those bond funds for something else, if you guys decide to do some streets. We just need to be clear on what we're gonna do, because I think you guys just wanted to do the paperwork once, so there was just one,
fee to,
yeah.
one publication, all of that, yeah.
We're kinda hung out on this until we know what kind of money we're looking at on these other three projects we're talking about.
But we could go ahead and approve this and not pay it out of the bonds, and then we
Oh,
can.
not pay it out.
Yeah,
Okay.
and then we can move forward
Yeah.
with a bigger project and use the, 187. So we could move forward, get this work done, at least get it scheduled on the books, and then,
I know last year what Casey told us was, it was gonna be, 45,000 to do like a 2-inch mill and fill per block. That's what we
Mill
had
and
figured
fill.
out. Yeah, mill 2 inches out, fill 2 inches in, it'd be $45,000 per block. What Gordo and I come up with last year, whenever you guys wanted that figure. Probably more than that now, but.
Oil prices went down.
Maybe put them down.
so just what's everybody's thoughts, should we move forward on the intersections and pay that out of something else, and then we can utilize the bonds when we get a better feel for
Yeah.
what, do we wanna pay those? If we approve them tonight, what do we wanna pay them out of?
Capital improvement.
You could do capital improvement, or you have $163,417.31 in special highway. Didn't you guys determine you could pay these out of special highway as well?
believe.
I think
I
we
think
did.
so.
Yeah.
So,
Doesn't really matter either way.
No, I don't think it really does. It's small enough that we could pay it out of special if we had something larger, we wouldn't.
Yeah.
How much is the total on those?
$60,720.
We wouldn't have to actually do those exact three, right? We could switch it in a different one.
We'd have to get bids on them.
Don't need any more bids anyway. With that one on Washington at an angle, that's on the north side of the street, which is never really used. Seems like a waste of money. We could replace an approach somewhere that's actually used a lot for that money.
Was that a drainage issue?
I think it was a
It's a-
drainage issue.
It runs the drain, or water drains through there.
I think that was.
If you look at it though, there's no pothole or anything. It's cracked up, but it's got very low traffic.
Till pickleball comes.
What?
Till pickleball comes.
No, it's the other side.
You're just saying.
It's the north side.
That's the north side, it's.
Yeah,
not
north
very
side.
wide. It's only a
Yeah, it's,
yay wide and
it doesn't get used much, really.
20 feet long maybe.
Yeah. We could do,
I think the bank,
Francis and
tell me
whatever
that,
street that is, that terrible,
where at?
Francis and,
Is it third?
First Street?
is it first? Yeah, I think it's first. Terrible approach there. Yeah.
Up there by the new concrete that we had to tear up.
And there's a,
That's not in there.
I know there's a,
No.
where we did the,
What was the third one?
over by the elementary school, going towards the ones, the streets we need tore up, there's that
Yeah.
intersection right there, it's always
Yeah.
pretty bad.
I was just saying, I thought it was in
Yeah,
there.
first and
Francis.
Francis, yes,
There?
first
Yeah.
and Francis is in there.
Okay.
Do you guys want copies of all of these? Do you have copies of these?
We've had them, yeah.
Kevin,
So either way, yeah.
That intersection by the bank too is, we're not gonna do anything, let's just patch all the shit we can,
Yeah.
Could
If
you
we
give
can-
us some patch?
We have some here, we're waiting for it to warm up so we can use it.
just start patching, if we're not gonna crack seal or chip seal, then let's patch, and then try to get on this tear out stuff.
Yeah.
Well, we can chip, I can call him and he'll give us prices, he can do all that from, it's up to you guys, ultimately. That was just a suggestion, if you're gonna do a lot of tear outs, cause he said, well, his exact words were, wow, you guys must have come into some money if you're talking about tearing out this much street, and I said, I don't
I don't think it's coming money, we just need to.
We just
do
Yeah,
something.
it's not gonna help to
45,000
patch
per
it.
block, right?
well, hadn't we talked
So
about
deep.
We need to come up with.
chip
blocks.
sealing a couple of the north-south streets?
Yeah, we had on our maps, what's ones we wanted, needed done.
Then weren't we gonna
I'm not familiar
finish
enough.
and work?
First the north and south,
Yeah, we were just gonna work over, cause we
Yeah.
did,
because the other streets.
Gun
we did
River.
River, but we didn't do Adams, right?
Right,
So we talked about Adams. Quincy was
What's
just
the next?
done except for the 2 blocks. The block east of the hospital.
Yeah, we thought about doing something with those though.